Welcome, everyone, to Topic Wonders number 33. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Steampunk Starraisin.
Of AverStreet.com. Hello, hello.
All right, dude. So what's been going on with you lately? How you been?
I've been okay. I've been working on this movie. It's not a movie that I directed or wrote, but I'm co-producing. And I'm editing it. And it's a short film called In LA Without a Car. And it has the music by, the music is scored by Kevin Kelly. He's a musician. He's really talented. He kind of sounds like a cross between Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan. And it stars Michael J. Pollard, who's he appeared in an episode of classic Star Trek. He's an older actor. He was also in Bonnie and Clyde. He co-starred with Warren Beatty. He also was in 1960s Billy the Kid. He co-starred with Robert Redford. So I'm excited about that.
Wow.
I'm hoping we can get this into Sundance because he's not like super famous, but he's got a good name and a good connection, and it greatly increases the chance of getting it in to the film festival.
I'm sure he was in many movies in the past, though, right? That he had recognition and everything. He was a big-time actor, right? If he was in Bonnie and Clyde and stuff.
Well, the last two movies I worked on, I kind of worked with minor celebrities.
Right.
Like Tom Slater, really his only claim to fame is he has a famous son. And then in this movie, hold on, let's sit down at the bus stop. In this movie, he's kind of more like a C-list celebrity. He's been in a lot of movies.
Okay.
And he's kind of a character actor. He's kind of eccentric, but that's part of his charm, I think.
So your life has been busy doing the movie now, right?
I'm sorry?
Your life has been busy now that you've been working on this movie, right?
Yeah, I've been busy working on the movie. I get paid a little bit, not a whole lot for it.
Okay.
But I've been doing like bartering. But I think it's a good opportunity because my IMDb page, the star meter, IMDb is like another social media. Hold on a second, I'm putting my earbuds in so that way I can hear better. Okay, you hear me? All right, yeah. Sweet. Yeah, IMDb is like another social media like Instagram. It's just, it's a social media for like producers, directors, actors, and even actors who do video games have an IMDb. But yeah, I mean, if I can cross-reference that, and that'll definitely I can get it submitted into Sundance and get an IMDb page for it, and that'll definitely help out my career because then I'll start to be associated with more established acts, I guess you could say.
Right. So you think this movie will make it where you're going to be doing quite a few movies?
Well, I think
more frequently than the past couple of years, right?
Well, I mean, this is the second movie in the last year I've worked on. This is the first movie in years that I worked on that I didn't direct or write. Slater versus Slater, I directed that, and I was the executive producer on that. But this movie, I'm just the editor, but I'm also co-producing. And, we just did an interview with this Brazilian model who was on a reality show with Queen Latifah. So that's and she's an up-and-coming, she's not quite famous yet, but she's an up-and-coming YouTube star, and she's a professional actress, been in a lot of movies, and I just got interviewed by her, and also Kevin Kelly, the director, got interviewed by her. So that's a pretty good PR move so far. I'm hoping more positive will come. I mean, it is a short, like 22-minute film. I don't know if it would win any awards or be something that somebody would want to buy because it is a short film. But if it just plays at Sundance and attracts some attention, people are like, oh, hey, you worked with Michael J. Pollard, what else have you done? Maybe I'll hire you to do this, or maybe I'll look at your other ideas. That's what it's all about.
Open up the doors for you.
Yeah, it could. I mean, I don't know if that's the reason why. I did a video vlog about editing the movie, and I tagged Michael J. Pollard in the video vlog post. I don't know if that's because why I've been gaining a lot more subscribers lately. I gained like 100 subscribers in just the last month.
Wow.
So that's good too. It's helping out my YouTube channel. And then now that I did the interview with the other YouTuber, that'll help out my YouTube channel as well.
Okay.
So yeah, this might actually start looking up. Hopefully.
So you're doing a dramatic amount of less videos to YouTube, but you're doing the movie, right? I mean, compared to
in the last year I worked on 2 movies. That's why lately I haven't uploaded as many videos. I try to upload a video once every 2 weeks, just so that people know that I'm not dead and that I'm still doing videos. I don't do video vlogs every day, because I've been so busy with this.
Right.
But I've got more content I got to upload. Like I interviewed the 2013 Playmate of the Year, and I just haven't, because I've been working on this movie, hadn't gotten around to editing it. But I will. I interviewed her at Long Beach Comic Con a few months ago, and she's a cosplayer. And I'll be editing and uploading that soon. That was the 4th Playmate of the year that I've interviewed. I've interviewed the 1961 Playmate of the Year. She was really interesting because she had worked with Alfred Hitchcock, Marley Renfro. Then I interviewed Jacqueline Sweatberg. She was 2012 Playmate of the Year. And then I think her name is Lisa Pinelli. I may be getting that wrong, so forgive me if I don't remember to properly pronounce her name, but she was 2000. I interviewed most recently the 2013 Playmate of the Year, and I also interviewed her last name is Kennedy, but I can't remember her first name. I interviewed the 2014 Playmate of the Year a couple of years ago because there was I interviewed the director from the horror movie Muck, and somehow he had the Playmate connection. And because I was pressed, I was able to interview all the Playmates. So that was.
So when are you going to go back to your cosplaying? Like mostly, where you interview the cosplayers? Are you going to a convention anytime soon, or?
Probably the next convention I'll be going to will be E3 Expo. But there's not. The sad thing about
have your laptop working? Everything working fine now, or?
Yeah, I do now. I thought it was a memory problem, but it was my hard drive crapped out. I needed to get a new hard drive, and I just reinstalled everything. Luckily, I had everything backed up, so I barely got my laptop working. Eventually, I need to get a new laptop because I have a nickname for my laptop. It's Battle Hard 17-inch. But yeah, because it's been through a lot of hell in the last 6 years. I'm amazed they could still even render video.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. I mean, something about rendering video in the last 6 years on that laptop, I've had to replace the hard drive twice because it gets bad sectors because you're dumping like hundreds of gigabytes, literally hundreds of gigabytes of data.
Yeah.
All the time, and you're using the hard drive a lot more than a normal person would as an editor, video producer, and I guess most hard drives are just not designed to put up with that kind of data load. And so, but yeah, I got it working. It seems to be working just fine now. I've repaired it about a month ago.
Have you seen any movies lately or heard any news?
I saw Ghost in the Shell. That's the most recent one with Scarlett Johansson. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't a great movie, but it was good. It was entertaining. I don't know why, like, beyond the trailer, she's a big YouTuber, does movie reviews. She said the movie was racist, but I didn't really find it to be racist.
I saw Fate of the Furious. I really like that.
I haven't seen that.
That's really good.
I heard the weird thing about Fate of the Furious. I heard that it beat Star Wars: The Force Awakens for opening weekend. That's weird.
$532 million in the opening weekend. Amazing.
I mean, I Fast and Furious. I think I've seen the first movie. That was about it. I mean, it was okay, but I wasn't like really into it. This is amazing to me. I wonder if it will be able to sustain that. And I wonder if
already getting a sequel, and the sequel's probably happening in like 2 years.
Well, I mean, I wonder if it will beat The Force Awakens in overall total gross.
I don't think overall, because it did $100 million here, but then it did $432 million.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It didn't do as well in the United States, but did better overseas. It's becoming more important overseas markets, especially like China and Europe, have a
I mean,
bigger
I think
role.
it still has a chance to do more here. I mean, nothing is really competition.
Well, I mean, you don't think it'll do $2 billion like The Force Awakens?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to do. It's going to cross over $1 billion. I don't know about $2 billion. I don't think so.
Yeah. And I saw the Last Jedi trailer.
What'd you think?
It was interesting. I have some misgivings about it. I mean, because it almost seems like Luke Skywalker has become evil, and I don't understand why he feels that he must do away with the Jedi Order. You know, I know one truth: the Jedi must go, or something like that.
So could that be the twist that he's just going to turn on everybody?
Maybe that would explain why he didn't give a damn for 30 years. He disappeared for 30 years and let everything go to hell. And he's supposed to be like one of the most powerful Force users. I mean, his midichlorian count is over 9,000. Anyway.
They don't even talk about that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always love the tease about midichlorians. Midichlorians are technically canon because Disney has said that the prequels are canon.
I know.
So midichlorians are canon. I know J.J. Abrams doesn't like to reference them because he hates it, but he can't dispute that it's canon.
Well, I think it's the interpretation of one Jedi's thing, or whatever.
But I don't know. It almost seemed like he was doing a force choke on Rey. I guess he's trying to train her, and some people are saying that he's a gray Jedi, but I kind of agree with Beyond the Trailer, because Beyond the Trailer, she's one of my favorite YouTubers. She does a lot of interesting movie reviews, and I like her. She's attractive too, and I like her take. Most of the time I agree with her take on things. But she said that George Lucas always resisted putting gray Jedi or a balance between dark and light into the movies. You were either light side or a dark side user. Occasionally you would be confused and you would be in between, but you always had to choose. And, she kind of compared it to, children who play tag, and then you say, tag, I'm it, but now I got a force field, so the tag I'm it doesn't really work, and it makes Rey kind of into a Mary Sue.
Right.
If you know anything what a Mary Sue is, but a Mary Sue is basically a perfect character, and she seemed like a perfect character. She didn't need any training, and she was able to kick somebody's ass. It had a lot of training, and so I had a little problems with that in The Force Awakens, and I worry that if you don't have to choose a side and you're not dark side or you're not light side and you're just all gray Jedi and that's the true balance of the Force, that's the way the Force was meant to be, I'm worried that might, in the long run, hurt the mythology. Because a lot of people, the Sith are cool, the Jedi are cool. I mean, you go to conventions, people like dressing up as one of those. But if it's in the future, if you don't have Sith and you don't have Jedi and it's all just gray Jedi, that sounds kind of bland. Yeah. I don't know. So I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about that plot development. I was shocked that was in there. I thought maybe it was called The Last Jedi because Luke Skywalker was the last Jedi, and then he was gonna maybe train Rey and then start a whole new generation of Jedi. But now apparently it's all about the gray Jedi. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But at least it's not directed by Jar Jar Abrams, because I'm not a big fan of Jar Jar Abrams' directing style.
Yeah.
But he is the executive producer, I think, on the Last Jedi, though. So he still taints it with his clout. But
and he's doing another Star Trek.
Yeah, he's still tainting out with his clout.
Yeah.
I can't stand Jar Jar Abrams.
We'll be talking about Star Trek in the coming months, Discovery, because right now that's still on hold.
I mean, what he should do is they need to do J.J. Abrams, a.k.a. Jar Jar Abrams, he needs to do an anthology film. He could direct and produce an anthology film. He could do Jar Jar and the Ewoks anthology film. And then then people would expect it to suck, and it would be okay, because they were like, it's supposed to suck.
So you headed leaving now? Waiting for your bus?
No, I'm just looking for the bus. I don't want to miss it, but let me check the time. Oh, another 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I got time. I got about 10 minutes before the bus comes here.
Excellent. So let's see. What else? Have you caught anything else on TV lately? Or movies or news or something you're concerned about? Have you heard that James Gunn is doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
I'm being serious on this. I worry that we may be on the verge of World War III, but
I mean, you're worried about the politics and all.
Well, it's something that you should be concerned about because there's all these hidden. I shouldn't say hidden because if you do your research, you know who's aligned with who. But there's all these indirect alliances, and it kind of reminds me of World War One, how World War One started, because you had this country that was secretly aligned with this country, and then when this country got attacked, they were backed up by this country, and then it was the Central Powers versus the Allied powers. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize that North Korea is kind of really not so secretly. They're allied with China. That's the reason why the United States hadn't gone to war with North Korea since the 50s, because China will back up North Korea. And then China also views the United States as a threat, and so does Russia. And then Russia's allied with Assad, and then it was really dumb for Trump to bomb Assad. He's a secular government fighting ISIS, and I thought ISIS was the big issue, but apparently Assad is more of a concern than ISIS. But a lot of the Russians have sent their own warship with cruise missiles to counter the U.S. destroyers with cruise missiles, and so if we keep this escalation to remove Assad, if the United States, I don't really speak for my government, but if the United States keeps this escalation to remove Assad from power, it could start World War III because Russia has troops in Syria. And that's the reason why Assad hasn't fallen from power, because they back him up with military aid and economic aid. And Iran is also allied with Russia. What a lot of people don't realize, there's a rival organization. I don't know why they don't talk about this in Western media. There's a rival organization to NATO, and it's called Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO. You can look it up. It's a real organization. And it's based in Shanghai, and it's a military alliance between Russia and China. And then they have an informal alliance with North Korea. And then you also have Iran, the Iranian government, and the Syrian government of Assad has also applied for membership in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And so they send troops, Syria and Iran, they still send troops every year to Shanghai to train with the Chinese army and the Russian army. And then they coordinate together. It's just like a rival organization in NATO. And it's really dangerous because it's not, whether Assad used chemical weapons or not, it's not worth starting World War III. That's all I can say. But, you know, at the same time, if World War III did start and it was nukes, I probably wouldn't even really feel anything because I would be vaporized in a second. LA would be one of the targets. So there's at least some comfort in that, but I'd rather, hopefully things not devolve that way.
Yeah.
But the real reason that the United States wants to take out Iran and they want to take out the Assad government of Syria is Assad and Iran oppose the Unicos oil pipeline. You know, I mean, I'm technically a journalist. I'm mostly a comic book journalist, but I research other things. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not hard to look up. You know, just like the Standing Rock pipeline. You know, the oil companies smell money and they want to build a pipeline going from Afghanistan all the way up through Syria, connecting to Turkey. And the whole purpose of this pipeline is to alienate Putin and Russia because Europe is heavily dependent on Russian imports. Right. And so U.S. business interests wants to alienate Putin and Russia and make their oil supply obsolete by building a pipeline through the Middle East so they can just go through Turkey. But it's not worth starting World War III over. People need to calm down.
Do you really think World War III is going to happen?
It could if the United States, I mean, you got an insane president, and then you got insane, and then there's hostility with an insane dictator of North Korea. But unfortunately, that insane dictator of North Korea is backed by China. And China has sent 150,000 troops to the North Korean border, not to invade North Korea, but in anticipation in case the United States invades North Korea, they'll counterattack. Mm-hmm. I mean, China did the same thing in the Korean War. A lot of people forget that the United States fought a war with China, not just North Korea during the Korean War. Because when MacArthur went past the 38th parallel, China is like, if you go to our border, we're going to attack you. And they did. And that's the reason why there's been always a standoff, because if it was just the United States versus North Korea, United States could take out North Korea within 6 months, because they, from what I understand, they only have enough food and they only have enough ammunition to supply their army for about 6 months. So they could take them out in 6 months, but because they're backed by China, it's a lot more complicated than that. Right. And it's not something that could be easily resolved by just doing a tactical strike. And so when you have the Trump administration threatening to, if North Korea does another nuke test, that they're going to use cruise missiles, that's not good, because if you start a war with North Korea, then you start that's what I'm saying. It sounds like World War I. You start a war with North Korea, then you start a war with China. You start a war with China, you start a war with Shanghai Cooperation Organization, then you start a war with Russia, and then you start a war with Syria and Iran. And I don't think the United States can win that. I really don't.
Isn't that because, like Nostradamus' prediction that there won't be another president anymore or something like
well,
that?
It's like Star Trek Next Generation. When they talked about World War III, it's kind of creepy in a way. Captain Picard said, I'm not, in that movie First Contact, I'm not a member of the Eastern Coalition. The Eastern Coalition is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's amazing how Star Trek has predicted a lot of things in the future. I hope it's not true, and I hope that it doesn't happen. But with escalating tensions, it could happen. And if you know the history of World War I, which is good to know, because if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. And it was all these indirect secret alliances that started World War I. Because people thought, okay, you assassinated the Duke of Serbia, but then they didn't realize the Duke of Serbia was allied with another country, was allied with the Allies, and, there was a Serbian rebel that I think assassinated somebody. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. I'd have to look it up again. But anyway, there was like one assassination by a terrorist attack during World War I that assassinated a Duke, and because they had all these indirect secret alliances, people thought, oh, it'll just be a war between two countries, but it ended up being a world war. And a war to end all wars, which was what they called it back then. It was kind of ironic. But that's why I look forward to Wonder Woman, because it takes place during World War I. It looks pretty damn cool.
You think it's going to be good?
I think it's going to be good because it's not directed by Zack Snyder. He's not, I think it's produced by Zack Snyder, but he's not directing it. So
I heard they're going to have an animated Watchmen soon or something like that, a rated R or something, animated film or something. You going on the bus now?
No, I'm just checking.
Okay. Well, I'll let you go anyway, because I know you got to catch it soon.
You said they were going to do a rated R movie called Watchmen?
Yeah, animated, I heard. It's like a rumor or something.
That would be cool. Watchmen is one of my favorite movies. It's within the top 5. I liked how dark and gritty it was and how flawed the superheroes were. I loved how, they had a more realistic take on superheroes, in the sense that if you had superheroes with superpowers or special abilities and special training wearing masks and they could do anything they wanted in public, a lot of them, like the comedian, would be psychopaths and just as bad as the villains they're trying to take down. So it was an interesting social commentary written originally by Alan Moore. But yeah, here comes the bus. I'll let you go, man.
Dude.
Peace out.
Peace out. Take care. Bye for now.